So continue, and I am not going to record. Okay, you're recording, so we're good. Okay, good. So let me go back to screen share here. Pull that up. We're going to share the screen. Okay, so you should have my MetaTrader chart right now.
Yes.
So we're going to just go real fast. I just want to go into, so we're taking a look at this. We're in a daily chart. Okay, what do we got going on here? Price, as we can see, has been moving up. If I look at this, all right. Today, price has been moving up after a pullback. It hit a high here. So, but overall, the trend is up on a daily. I'm going to go to 4-hour chart. All right, so we had that last push up. Retraced down to this low here, and it's moving back up. And if I were to look at this, let's see, we have basically a channel right now that's forming. Right, so there's lower. Let's have to wait for this candle to form, but as you can see, this thing's bouncing around a little bit. We had 1, 2, and I'm looking for one more push down. But basically, we can see this on 4-hour basis is in a retrace. You can see the average daily range bars here and here. This is when this is where price opened today, so it's been moving up. But again, it's kind of it's just in a consolidation. I'm looking at MACD here, Lorenzo. It pulled back to the 0 line. I'm expecting this high to be taken out here, but I'm not sure that it's done correcting. You can see they came back and they took out all the stops down to this level here. And if we close this up a little bit, we had a resistance support area right here, right? So it came right down to that support area.
Yeah.
You seeing that?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Took out stop. That doesn't mean it's not going to come down here and grab this. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, if I were to look at a fib retracement here so far, if I go off of the low right here to the high, it retraced a Fibonacci, came down to about 50%. We may see price come down to the 618 in here. We'll have to wait and see. But at this point, I'm going to look at what today's price action's been. And here's an hourly chart. Okay, so now we're getting there. We can see the resistance area up at the top in the green here. Came down to that breakout area, as we can see, and then started moving up. So, now let's look at this on a 15. So the trend, it's in a correction still. It looks like it's forming, like I said, a channel. I've got here, and then now here. So it's going to be in this channel from once this candle forms. You don't have to draw this stuff, but it's just good to know. See how I respected that trend channel line here almost perfectly? Look how symmetric, right? So my guess is it's probably going to come back down into, and if we extend this out, down into this area, like this. You with me?
Yes.
So we'll see. We'll see. I just don't think this thing's done correcting. So let's go to a 15-minute chart, see what it would look like. Okay. So they moved it, they broke it down to that 618. They brought it into the Asian session. They screwed around, but bam, look how they tested this once, twice, kept on testing this, right? Brought it right back down, trying to head fake people. Then they broke it out right here. Bam. See how they broke it out?
Yeah.
And then they reversed it. Brought it right back into the Asian range. Now, if I would take a fib retracement here, I'd go from this swing high here to the swing low. What it is, it's Fibonacci 618 retracement. See that?
Yes.
Okay. So again, this was a resistance area. So we had a confluence up here looking, waiting for price to do something. It absolutely did something. Now, could this continue going higher? It could. But right now, it's still, they're messing with people. I mean, it's clear. Why else would they be doing that? Why would they be bouncing it down here, up here, down here, up here, right? They broke it out. They stopped people out again, right?
Yep.
So people jumped in. They might try to bring people into this again. We'll see. We don't know till we know. But right now, this is a no trade zone. The reason it's a no trade zone is because it's still within the Asian box, right?
Got it.
Because we don't know. Based on the previous price action, it's like, do you really want to take a trade on this thing?
No.
I don't know. I don't. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's ranging, right?
It's ranging. They're screwing around. Let's look at this on 5 minute. Okay. I mean, yeah, if you were trading a short term from the low here, you might have been fine. You could have traded right back up to the Asian session high, pulled back off. It's just hard to really judge where this thing's going right now. It looks really strong at this moment on this candle, 5 minute, but let's go back here. I just wouldn't be spending too much time with this pair at this point. Look, they brought it right back up to the Asian high. They're messing it around. So again, what I'm thinking is after it comes up to this Fibonacci 618, there's a chance that we're going to see price push down lower here. If you were going to trade it in any direction at this point, it would be up. It would be up. But you can see what they're doing. And then where's it going to go? Where's the next target?
The next target.
Yeah, if you're trading this thing long, and this is a bullish pattern here, and what we see is we're getting higher highs,
right?
Higher, so it's definitely trending up. But within the context of what we were looking at on the hourly chart, we don't know. We're not sure where this thing's going to go.
Yeah, we don't know. We would have to wait until it broke up there where price action is for the daily range.
Well, I mean, this would be, a possible trading up to this high here.
Right.
We could do that, but you can see how choppy it's been, man. I mean, like if you had entered here and didn't take profits, you would have been stopped out.
Right.
Or you could have, if you didn't take profits, you had another opportunity. Again, if you look at these moving averages, everything again is pointing up. So
yeah, I had jumped in a trade briefly, and that's exactly what you're explaining right now is what I saw. Minus me having the Japanese, the Asian session box, I recognized that we were definitely moving into like range, and then it broke out. Like you said, it broke out maybe around 7:30, 8 o'clock, that breakout, and then it hit that area. Yep, it hit that area of resistance and came down, and I said, I'm not messing with this.
yeah, it's they're confusing, they're just making it confusing right now. But this is what they do. I mean, it's just part of the game, right? It's part of just knowing how to read the charts. So it's just what.
But I did take some short term. When you say short term, I did take some like 3-minute trades within there, because ending of London session, beginning of New York session, for some reason there's always a lot of volume with PJPY. So I did take some trades, some very short-term trades, like you said, coming off of that resistance. But even doing that, it was bouncing off the bottom of the resistance, giving a head fake as if it would continue going bearish.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, in looking at this, I can see the potential for price to break out, but again, it looks like it's just so choppy and range bound. You know, it's, I mean, the moving averages did come together here. You'd have to have some short-term targets for that. So not the best setup overall, just based on the structure of what we're seeing here. I mean, again, this is an hourly chart. I do expect price to take out this high at some point.
Right.
But right now, with it being in this channel, yeah, I would have a wait and see on this for sure. Like, looks like, yeah,
Like
the bias is still long.
Yeah, if it could break, break up. You said the bias is still long?
Yeah. Yeah, the bias is still long at this point.
So what if it could get above 155, 450? I would then, like, if it kept on moving up from there.
From 145, 450.
155.
155, 450. Yeah, I mean, if it takes out this high in here, but I don't have any indication that, I mean, at this point, again, the bias is up, but would I want to take a buy today? I don't know that that's the best scenario right now. I'm just really not seeing any. I'd want to see these moving averages get tightened back up again like we would over here. I want to see something like that, and I'm not. It's just too choppy. Look at the time of day. I mean, it may break out. We've seen late breakouts, but it's definitely dealing with this resistance area here, right here. And you've got a round number, right? This is the 50 level.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're just going to chop this thing around a little bit. I mean, obviously that's what they're doing.
And 450 marks that area in that channel. So if it could break and close above 450, but it may make it today.
Yeah, it might. It might. We'll see if it does break it, then this would be the target. Would be right back up here at the ADR, the average
Right.
trade range, would be right up in here.
Okay.
Um, but this is what you're dealing with. So, all right. So I would, I'd wait on this personally.
And maybe we're looking at this creating some sort of support. Yeah, we would have to wait and see, huh? Because it looked like it's consolidating again.
Yeah, I mean, the only place you would have, just looking at where the buy had been, if there's a buy. Yeah, your buy would have been on the pullbacks. That's it. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. You know, you could have, based on, we have green, you could have bought on the pullback here, in hindsight. But I guess what I'm drawing, what we want to be aware of, because you're going to see this time again, is that Asian session high. What they did is they broke it in, they sucked people in, and then they took them out, right? So if you see that enough, it's like, okay, after they break it out, I'm going to wait for a pullback, and then I'm going to enter, right? So
Right.
you can see how they brought it up to the highs here, and then they finally broke it out. They brought it right to the high here. You think that was a mistake with these two candles? They brought it right to the Asian session high both times. So they're getting people to jump in. Like this was a totally blue candle at one time, right?
Right.
Price is here, went as high as here. This was the low and it closed back. So as it broke the Asian session high, people jumped in, and then they brought it right back up, closed it right at the Asian session high. People are getting antsy. Then they jumped it above, sucked people in, made it go higher, brought it right close to that resistance area, and then they pulled it back. So you can see what they're doing. I mean, they're moving price around these areas for a reason. It's kind of like, think about the offensive receiver, right? You've got the wide receiver, and he's trying to fake out who? The defensive back. Right?
Yeah.
So he's going to juke. He's going to step here. He's going to come back. He's going to try to confuse that defensive back as best he can. Basically, we call it giving it a look. We're going to make it look like one thing and do something else.
Yeah.
Right? This is exactly what we're seeing right now. So, yeah. We do have some bullishness here, as you can see on the with the MACD. But if I look at this I'll pull this chart over. So I'm just going to use another version. I don't know what your trading view MACD looks like. I can pull that up in a second. But so this is my E-signal chart. So we had a 5-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. It hit the 5 here. So all I did was a projection right here off of the high of 3, and it ran right into this this level. It's called the make or break level. So at the end of 4, again, if there's an opportunity, but if we're using these moving averages as for simplicity's sake, then we got they twisted together. We had a break above, pulled back. So this would have been your entry here. Of course, they brought it back up, as we mentioned, the Asian box, pulled it back. We're seeing, and see the divergence here on the MACD.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is suggesting we're going to get price moving higher, but right now we've got some really strong resistance up in there. So I'd want to see price close above the 50 level, which is this line right here, this resistance line. Yeah. That's what I'd be looking for. Again, bias is still to the upside, but I want to draw another trend line here, Lorenzo. I'm going to go from this swing low here to the swing low here.
Okay, I see what you just did. I see what you just
So
did.
if I draw another trend line, yeah. So if I do this trend line here and this trend
Right.
line
I see
here,
what you just did. Right.
right? So the possibilities, we'll see price come right back down into this area. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So we see that a lot.
Yes, it would come back down one more time before the push up. And the way you just drew it on
That's
there,
great. Yeah.
the way you just drew it on there as well, because we are on a 15-minute chart, it reminded me exactly on if we were looking at it from an hourly chart, or how the smaller moves, that pullback move we was talking about, this is what we're on that. It looked like it's gonna go back up to break, but it has to come down one more time before it makes that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing. We'll see what they do here, but it's kind of working this channel right now.
See that?
So we see price come, if it takes, if it breaks back down, it could come here, or it could just break it, come a little bit lower. So yeah, this is kind of what it's working right now. So remember, after we have this big impulse move here, and all these people jumped in, they're coming in and grabbing the stops, taking people out at this point. So we'll see. Again, they could change it. They could break it back up, go right back up into here. But we would want to, again, if we look at this on a 15-minute basis, we can see the trend on a 15-minute basis is still up, right?
Right.
So let's take all this out. Let me. So we've got that trend channel. So we can draw all of these. And all we're trying to do is get a read. So you can see it's working that channel too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so trading these wave, what we call wave fours, can be kind of daunting, if you will. But this thing has moved 15 pips since the low here. Like I said, my only bias would have been up. It's only just based on these moving averages. The only direction I'd want to trade is up right now. I wouldn't be shorting this market right now.
We might be able to break it on an hour time frame. From my chart over here, it looks like those three moving averages are coming together. At least the 50 and the what is that? The 35 SMA.
Yeah, right here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you've got the 15. Yeah, these averages are coming together, right? Yeah. So we may get that breakout up and then eventually take out this high over here. But as I said, just in looking at this, from this morning's price action, you can see definitely been trending up. There's no question about that. It's definitely been trending up on a 15-minute basis. So, but you just want to be aware of like this Asian box. Like I said, you saw how it just moved sideways this whole the whole time,
Yeah.
and it broke it up and brought it right back down. See, when you're aware of these things, you're not, the surprises just, hold on, let me take this off, delete. Okay, so let's put this back down to a 15-minute chart. So if we were to look at this from the perspective, okay, so we come into the New York session, right? We come into the New York session and we ask those questions. What did price do overnight? Well, it moved up and sideways. So my bias is up because that's what it did during the previous session. So what did price do overnight? It moved up and sideways. What is price doing now? When you looked at it, it was still within the confines of the Asian trading session, right?
Right.
It was still bound. It's like, okay, so what is it doing now? Well, it's kind of just moving within the Asian box. Okay, great. What do I need to see take a trade? Well, I need to see price close above the Asian session high. Okay, well, you did that. So I'm going to enter here. But what's your next target? It was this area here. It didn't quite hit it, but it ran into support and then it pulled back. See, so if you had set a tight stop loss in here, so you entered here, so you entered there and you sent a tight stop, oops, did a tight stop loss in here. So say you entered here, on the close of that candle, it was a 155.39. Where would you set your stops? Well, that's the thing you have to ask yourself. What if I'm wrong?
Right.
So you don't want to make too wide of a stop loss. So say you're like, I'm going to enter here and my stop loss is going to be right below the Asian session high. Okay, so that would be, you could use you could have entered here and use a 6 pip stop loss. You would have been stopped out.
Yep.
But you would have only lost pips. The thing is, you have to ask yourself, what's my risk reward? What am I shooting for? If I enter here, what's my target? Well, your target was right here.
And how many
pips
is that?
Resistance over in this. Well, it would only have been 10 pips.
Yeah.
So you were risking 6 to make 10.
Yeah, that's not enough.
So then again, you could say, okay, well, what do I need to, so they brought it back down. Now we know the bias is still up. It came down. We got a strong candle here. MACD is still above the 0 line. Oh, and then we got this pattern. What's this pattern? It's called a bullish engulfing pattern, right? It came and engulfed this candle. So say you entered here again. If you wanted to try again, okay, I'm going to enter here. The close of this candle. The close was at 155.37. What's my target? Back up to the 50 level. So you're looking at a 13 pip move. Where would you set your stop? Right below the Asian session low again. So down in here, you could have probably used, 5 pip stop loss. So you'd be risking 5 to make 13. So you'd be fine, right? It's not bad because you're risking 5 to make 13. That's better than risking 1 to make 2.
True.
You're risking 1 to make 2.5.
True.
Right. So now, yeah. So anyway, that's just a way to.
Okay, I see that. I see that. Because if we break, I would be personally, I would be aware, and I am aware of this strong resistance. So that makes sense, because if I entered and we came back down and that started and it started to range, then I can just keep in mind that because we're in an uptrend, it'll still probably break at some time. So just to watch it. And I would, like you said, have those 13 pips.
Yeah, yeah. So you'd be okay.
That's a good way to measure it. Just me looking at it, I would say, damn, and it touched 2 times, I would need it to break.
Yeah.
450.
But you see, you can definitely see the game that's going on, right? In terms of the head fakes and things like that. It's like, oh, okay, so this is what's going on. You know, somebody's trying to fake us out, right? I
Right.
mean, it's okay. It's part of the game. Okay. Big deal. No big deal. Um, but you can see where it came right back up here. We still have some momentum here on the 15-minute chart.
Yeah.
Let's look at a 5-minute basis. Okay, you're seeing some divergence here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they're, you can see what they're doing. But I'm looking at this here. I'm like, okay, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're doing the 5th wave right now. But hold on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. Do a 1-minute chart. Yeah. Yeah, based on what I'm seeing, we're gonna get more upside. But that's how, you know, when you're looking at the Asian session box, so if you've ever kind of wondered when you get into the Asian session, like what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
when you get into the New York session, it's like, why is price rattling around this area? Well,
Right.
now you know. This was the Asian range. I don't hear any of the educators talk about that. So it's not a bad thing. I just wanted to bring your attention to it. And now you can see it.
Absolutely. And I can see how it makes a difference. It like
Yeah.
because that's the one of the second, third largest sessions.
Yeah, well, you got the 3 sessions. You got Asian, European, and New York session. So
Right.
Asian, you've got European, London that coincide, and you have overlap during the Asian session. But so typically, you're not going to see a lot of price action during the Asian session.
Okay.
But even if you're looking at the London session, right? Let's just look at this. So the end of the session here is, let's see, hold on a second. Let's go to a 4-hour. All right. Oh, I don't have my Asian box there. Well, so Asian session is here. Hold on. One second. Where's my Asian session at? The Asian session ended on this dip here. Oh, it ended up, the Asian session ended near the high. So, what are they saying? 5 o'clock in the morning. Is that the end of the Asian session box?
Is it 5? I think so.
Yeah, so 5 in the morning is when the Asian session closed. And so, you know, it just stayed in this range, moved right back down to the range. Anyway, that's something I'd want to be aware of. You know, we look over here to this chart, got the Asian session. So now if you were in the Asian session, like if you're in the London session, you're like, oh, I'm going to take a short here. Okay, well, it would have been a good short. Right down to support right here into this area, got support. But again, if you're coming in during the New York session, that's where the Asian session box can be really helpful, right?
Right.
During the New York session, because you weren't up during the London session. Well, we can see what it's doing right now. It's just sort of rattling around here. It's not doing a whole bunch. Anyway, I'm seeing the momentum here on 5-minute basis. And I do anticipate it maybe breaking this high. We may not get the ADR today. I don't know. We'll see. But my guess is if it breaks this high, it's going to pop back and then continue.
Right.
Why? Because see how they're setting the resistance right here?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
setting up, it's all the resistance right here. So they'll suck people in, right?
Mhm.
And there's a good chance it'll pull back. And then that would be the entry up to there.
Okay. Yes. 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 Okay. Yes. All right. Yes. Because it'll create the resistance now becomes support, and then it'll take off from the support.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but when you start thinking about what's going on, you start thinking about like, oh, well, all right, what are they doing, right? What are the brokers doing? What are they doing? They're trying to suck you in, right? And then stop you out.
And that would be
They want to suck you in. They're going to give you a head fake, bam, pull back, and then go up. So you jump in, you're all excited. Now you buy, you're excited. It pulls back. You're saying, oh my God, this sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Right? They pull back and then they move it in the direction. They know what they're doing. Think of the human emotions that are involved, right? That's all. That's what's going on, man. It's just kind of like that's the game. And if you keep your mind clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't buy into the fear, you trade what you see, right? Not what you're thinking, you trade what you see. This is what I see. This is what I see going on. And so that's why, what do I see here? I see two moving averages that are both green. The bias is up. I'm going to keep this thing real simple right now. The bias is up. I'm looking for buys. I'm looking for buys. I'm looking for buys. So if I'm always thinking buy, MACD's above the zero line, I'm looking for a buy. It's ranging around this Asian box, like right here. So when we came into the session, if it's still in the range here, again, this could be a no trade zone. It's like, I'm not going to trade here.
Right. That makes sense.
It's like what we said, it's a no trade zone. That's one way, it's one way to do it. But you can exactly see what they're doing right now. They just keep on bringing it up to this level and dropping it. So, what else were you looking at, CAD?
Yeah, I CAD pretty much doing the same thing. I made a move. I made one move off of that, coming off of a 15-minute chart. And it.
Yeah. So look at this. Look.
Choppy.
Look at what you got here. Look at the Asian box.
I see it.
Right. Look at the Asian box. So you had a good trade in here.
Mm-hmm.
It was above the moving averages, right? You had a decent trade in here.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to take it, like if you waited till it got all twisty, the trade would have been in this area right here. Anyway, either way, because you can see how it pulled back. But look what it did, man. So it took out these highs right here. These resistance area, this resistance. And then look how it chopped around.
Yeah.
After it took out the high.
Yeah.
It said its Asian high here. And then look what it did this morning.
Yeah.
This was a tall blue candle at one time, right? This candle was totally blue. And people were jumping in and they said,
got you.
Bam.
Yep.
Yes. Right. But we know, because if you look at this, we did have a resistance area here. You can see that green line, right? And so we had resistance there. We were aware of that. Let's go to an hourly chart. See what's going on. Okay, here's the hourly. Here's the resistance. We knew there was a resistance area there. So again, if you look at that Asian box this morning, and you're gonna wait, you wouldn't have taken this trade.
No.
The bias was up for sure. The bias was up, but you had resistance here. So what is your target? It's like, okay, even if I want to take this trade, okay, I take it down here. You know, probably not the best entry because you're below the moving averages. So if I'm waiting, like this would have been a better trade, but you can see they just look what, see, this is interesting too. So remember how we use these moving averages as support resistance? So we have, this is a moving average. This is a 50 EMA. This is the 50 weighted moving average. And look where price came right back down to.
Right. Yep. And that
became your
new resistance, right?
Became its new support.
Oh yes, new support moving down. But now that it's
and then look what they did.
It broke it.
Right here.
Right.
Yeah, now it's new resistance, but look what it, look what it did. It popped down and then they pulled it right back up, right? And then they continued lower.
Okay.
Still within the Asian range.
Yes. So we're still in the Asian range.
Still in the Asian range. So you just want to be aware of that, be careful of that, right? That's it. That's all.
Damn.
Just be careful.
Right. Because that third candle down, that third candle on a is it an hourly chart? No, on a 15-minute chart, the EMAs kind of came together, and like you said, because that is a place of support, I was looking at taking a trade after that, but then like you said, it started shooting up, and I was like, so I went back to a 4-hour time frame, and yeah, that's why I set those supports up from a 4-hour time frame, because I have yet to place the box, the Asian session box on my chart, but it definitely shows that we would have to wait for it to break below that to even have a good trade. I see that now. We in Asian session range. Huh.
Yeah. So let's just see something else. Let's just look at one more. And what we'll do is, so
another one that I was looking at. Have you ever looked at NZD odd? Like any NZD or odd pairs?
yeah, I've looked at them. What about them? I mean,
oh, just because I was attempting to find like the best movements for like right now, like some different pairs, and I was just looking at just the differential of the what's those numbers called, the on the side, and they're
average daily range.
The average daily ranges, what? And they have those numbers was a little bigger in separation, the difference.
Oh, you mean, wait, on colors?
Yes.
On color? Oh, yeah, that's the strength.
The strength, yes, the currency strength. That's what I mean. The currency strength of the pairs.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can look at that, kind of, combine that with what we have going on here. Like, so this is the euro dollar.
Okay.
We're seeing some, MACDs below the zero line. This happened during the Asian session range, but both of these moving averages turned red. You had a sell up in this area, and you can see that this thing continued on down. So again, this is why I'm saying you look for the twisting, the tightness of these moving averages come together, and then, place your trade. Like this thing came down, like just say to the Asian session, this thing moved 49 pips, continued down to a total of 53 pips. They pulled it right back up. I would anticipate price continuing lower at this point based on a 15-minute basis. But anyway, yeah, so that was a nice twisty move. You can see that over here as well. These moving averages, again, see how they came together?
Yeah.
Price broke up. You spotted this yourself. Price broke up, pulled back, and off she went.
Then
right?
it goes. Yeah.
So when you start looking for these things, you're, what direction are you going to trade? It's like you get to decide. Now we can come back. I'm going to have to peel off here. We can come back and get you set up with some of these indicators. If you want the support and resistance, if you want the ADR, if you want the Asian box, we can get all of that on your chart. We can make a template and then you can do it. I just can't do it right now.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I definitely appreciate it, Mr. Clay, and showing me that, because I have been watching GBP JPY, and I was like, this AM, like I said, I had jumped in a trade for maybe 30 minutes. And then I was just checking it out, and I was like, hold on, get up out of here.
Well, look at this, same thing. This is the New Zealand dollar today, right?
Yeah, yeah.
New Zealand. Then we come into.
And it did it this AM too. Yeah.
Came right down to resistance, right? Or right down to support.
Yeah.
Bounced right back. So we'll get you set up, and you can see, like, you can put in all these pairs over here on your MetaTrader and just click on it. And there you go. It's there. Look at that. So that's, what am I looking at right now? I'm looking at the Euro Swissy, right? Look at this nice move up. Bam.
Wow.
Right. Let's go to the what do we got here? We got Euro. Okay, this is the Euro Swissy. I'm sorry. Look at this. Asian session range came down to support. Bam, 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 bam. Came down. This was the low. And then this morning, the end of the Asian session range. Look what it did. Head fake again, right? And brought it right back in. You starting to see this?
Yes, 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 yes. It makes sense. That's right? That would be, yeah. I want when we get back, I will want those Asian boxes, because I do take a look in that time frame, and I've been conscious of it, especially since yesterday when it was brought up, this AM in the session. But just to see
so
visually,
we'll do that. We'll set that up, and again, we've got, you can see, look at the strong support up there, strong resistance. I mean, this was all drawn. These are the ADR lines. This is support and resistance. These are all, these are things I just, you just put on your chart. They're there. You can see it. So you can see how strong the support zone is, how strong the resistance zone is, and it switches in every time frame. So whatever you go to, 5 minute. So look at that, man. Look what they did. This is a 5-minute basis on the Euro Swissy. Look what they did. They moved it up, and then they just
played with it
driving people. Here. They broke it above.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they brought it back. And they brought it above here. People jumped in, stopped them out. Brought it above here, closed it above the Asian S9, brought it back. Wow. Right. Yeah. Right. So now you're beginning to see this stuff.
Right. Okay. And because the Asian session starts at 7, right? 7 p.m. our time, right?
Yeah, but yeah, just type that in and you'll
yeah, I'll check that out. That makes sense.
Just I'm just really not, I don't pay really much attention to the Asian session, other than because I'm not up doing anything with it.
Right.
But this was overlap in here. This all happened during the open of the London session. So this was a good move. This is why the London session is such a powerful session, right? So if you look down here, this low here was at what time? This is the thing about MetaTrader. I just tracked 7 hours, so I don't know. So I can't really see that.
I don't see the time. Is that 10? Is that 10? I think that says 11.
What pair? No. 11 in the morning?
11 at night.
Yeah, so if it's 11 in the well, then it would be 2100. So I don't know. What pair am I looking at? Euro Swissy. Hold on 1 second. This isn't a pair I would normally consider trading. So he's in session.
Because it looks like it has this box ending around 12.
So that was so this was at 3:30 in the morning. This low here
Okay.
was at about 3:30 in the morning. So let me just look at that candle here. So yeah, so 3:30. That was so that candle closed at 3:45 in the morning. So London had been open. So they gave you this look, right? You're going sideways. Europe opens. If this is 3:45, we'll go back 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at 3 o'clock in the morning. So this is the Frankfurt at 2 o'clock in the morning. So if you come on during the London session, okay, now your bias would have been to the downside for sure, right?
Yeah.
It's below the moving averages.
Yeah.
You can see they dropped it down. They pulled it back. They dropped it down. So they started this move at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they started this move around 2:30 in the morning, but they drove it right down to support, and then they just reversed it. They just reversed this thing in a big, big way. So, but then we got on this breakout candle, we got the green MACD's above the 0 line. We've got both the candles above the green. I mean, again, the Asian rage hadn't been set at this point, but there was an opportunity during the London session on this pair, but then it just chopped around. Man, that would have driven you crazy. This is probably going to make one more move to the upside to take out the high here. Yeah. We'll see. But here's an hourly chart. Can you see the trend was all the way down? So I'm thinking A to B, C to D is probably gonna make another push up into this area. And my bias right now, based on an hourly chart, would be I'd still be looking for a long here if I were to trade this pair. I mean,
right.
So you can see they brought it down here, they broke it out, they brought it back down. So I'm thinking it's probably going to push up again, and that makes sense with these moving averages, right? So
yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. First target would be 109. 1.0985.
Right up in there.
Yeah, well, right up in this.
Where that support at? Up in there? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. I would look for it to take out that high and come back and grab this bar. You see how it broke down here?
Okay. Okay.
Probably. But again, look at this. This is a move on a 15-minute chart, man. Look at this. This is from yesterday. Price pushed through this. We had a pullback. This was your sell zone, was right in here. Think about this for a second. So let's just look at this. Why is this your sell zone? So hold on. Scroll. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so it's pushing up. It breaks through the Asian session low, right? Right here.
Right.
You can see that. That sucked people in, right? This bar
Yeah.
sucked people in. They pulled it back. Where did they pull it back to? These moving averages. Whether you had these on there or these on here, it doesn't matter. But it pulled it back. You can have pulled it back. That's the 50 EMA. Pulled it back to the 50. You had another sell, so you could have sold in here. This wouldn't have been a bad sell, right?
Right.
Could have sold up in here, pulled it down. They brought it right back. So you had another selling opportunity here. And at this point, you have these moving averages is already crossed. And that's where you got your big move. So if you sold up in here, you would have been good. But you're using the moving averages to determine when you sell. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
This is the sell and it came here.
I see it.
So
Yep.
I'm looking at a 15-minute chart. It's like, okay, all right. So it takes guts to sell up in here. But this move, just this move alone was, let's see, that was 29 pips. But you can see it looks like a really powerful move and everything had lined up. MACD was below the zero line. So let's just go back to that for 1 second. So if we look at this, as it pulled back here, look where MACD is. Everything's below, MACD is below the zero line. So your bias is still to the downside, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So everything is still thinking, you're still thinking short. Still thinking short. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll get we'll get together and we can do it later today or tonight or something and get these indicators on your chart. All right, I'll show you how to do it if you want to use MetaTrader. I know you're using TradingView, but you know, MetaTrader is a really good tool. So, and it's all free. On TradingView, you have limited. You're using the free version of TradingView.
Yep.
So you have limited. Yeah, it's limited indicators on there. So, all right. So we good for now?
Yes, we're definitely good, Mr. Clay. I definitely appreciate it. Let me go.